Why don't we start with Big 12 expansion, though, because I had an interesting conversation with a BYU guy yesterday who reached out to me. He actually reached out to Pardon Moi, and we were talking about, how the process at BYU was working with Big 12 expansion, and BYU is hearing everybody saying, well, why aren't hey,
They haven't made an announcement. Are they not in?
They are in. And I am told yesterday by sources deep inside of the Provo Canyon. Now I'm being an idiot.
Wow.
Sources in Provo tell me yesterday that BYU is 100% behind Tom Homo. The hierarchy, the leadership at BYU fully supports Tom Homo's direction in joining the Big 12. And BYU is simply taking the Big 12's lead on making announcements. So there was all these flying rumors yesterday that there was going to be an announcement. Well, there wasn't an announcement yesterday. And I think the thing that really stands out to you is that BYU is taking the Big 12's lead here. And Jake, I think this is playing out. If you're a BYU fan, this is playing out exactly as you want it to.
Yeah, I think it's perfect execution. I think that BYU is they're controlling what they can control, and they're letting the Big 12 do their job. And I think that for BYU, you've kind of had this you've been waiting for this opportunity for many years now, and it kind of seems like you're prepared for the process. It kind of feels like BYU isn't in a hurry. BYU it doesn't, they're not in a hurry, but they are also not going super slow. They're just going at a good pace. They're letting things unfold as they will. And they're really happy with where they are. And I think that's when I heard you say that, like, to me, that's really good news, because that says to me that BYU has their ducks in a row, if you will. They're not frazzled by the situation. They're not all over the place. They're organized. Everything's good. So if you're a BYU fan, looking at this situation, I would think that you would feel really good about where BYU is at. And frankly, I think Tom Homo has done a hell of a job scheduling over the years, and he's earned his stripes with the way he's led this program. And I think that, we look all across college football, whether we're talking about the Pac-12 or whether we're talking about coaching issues in the SEC right now, or whether we're talking about, Clemson, being down this year. Like, you look at all these different situations across college football, and you can pretty much tie a lot of those issues to the leadership overall, not just the head coach, but the athletic director and the decisions that are made and all those things. And I think BYU has done really well with making good decisions consistently over a long period of time. And that's put them in a position to do this and do it comfortably. And to me, that's the biggest win here. You should feel good about it if you're a BYU fan.
Yeah, and I think your best point there, in my opinion, is anytime you have Tom Homo at the helm, you can feel confident. You can feel comfortable that what is best for the university is being done. And I think that's one of the check boxes that the leadership at BYU knows that is not in question. I mean, when Tom is operating for BYU, it's truly operating in the best interest of BYU and its students and its athletes. And I think that's Tom's job. And it's a luxury that I don't think we talk about enough. And I think here in Utah, whether it's, Weber, whether it is USU, Utah, obviously, I think the Utes in that entire athletic department is elite. I also think that when you look at BYU, you have no doubt that these men leading these athletic departments are doing their best to make sure that student athletes at these schools are taken care of. And I don't think there's any question that, in my mind at least, that Tom Homo's the best athletic director in the state of Utah and arguably one of the best in the country. Based on the way that he's handled independence and the changes and the rigors and the pressures that come with building a schedule as the caliber that BYU has had over the last several years. And yeah, that took some years to ramp up. But I think anytime you make a major change in your identity, whether that's independence, joining the Pac-12, joining the Big 12, there is a ramp-up period, and there will be for BYU getting into the Big 12. But I think when you look at where BYU is now, everything's fine. I asked specifically, hey, when do you think there's going to be an announcement? And there is currently, from what I'm told, no firm timeline to make some significant announcement about BYU's addition to the Big 12. There are a lot of moving parts here. There's 3 other universities that don't include BYU. So there's 4 total. There's an entire conference. These things need to be coordinated. Are there going to be media leaks? Of course, but I think there's always media leaks. So, I mean, none of this should be surprising to where BYU is and where the Big 12 is. I think one of the more fascinating conversations is, what does this do to the Big 12? And I'm specifically talking about UCF because we heard from a lot of UCF fans yesterday, because I do not believe, and again, this is just my opinion, I do not believe that UCF is some groundbreaking win for the Big 12. Am I wrong about that?
I don't think you're wrong about it, but I also don't think it's fair to marginalize them either. I think that they do bring value. I mean, you look at, first of all, you look at what they're able to do in basketball, and they've been coming for a minute in basketball. I mean, they've been building for sure. But I think when you go to the football field and you look at this whole situation with their head coach Gus Malzahn, and you say, okay,
don't you mean LSU's head coach Gus Malzahn?
Well, yeah, he's probably going to be. That's probably going to happen.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm a jerk.
It's fine. Go ahead.
But it's a legitimate question. How long is Gus Malzahn? Are you telling me that Gus was like, yeah, I got whacked over the winter by Auburn. I'm just going to go to UCF and ride out into the sunset.
Yeah, no.
Is there anybody that believes that? Like, how long do you think Gus Malzahn's at?
1 season. 2 seasons, maybe. Tops.
Really?
Tops. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be there 5 years.
So he's taking the Lane Kiffin route to Ole Miss.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think that all this noise around good old Edo over there at LSU is a little unwarranted in my opinion. The guy won a national championship 5 minutes ago, and we're already talking about firing him because he lost at the Rose Bowl, which I do agree is unacceptable. But at the same time, I think that you got to give the guy a little more leash. But I just think that at the end of the day, for the Big 12. UCF, they're like, they have twice the student body that BYU has. The problem is that BYU is a national juggernaut from a media perspective. So BYU, value-wise, to me, has more value to the Big 12. Now, for UCF to the Big 12, I think it's fine. Like I guess I just struggle to put a label on them because they're another program. They're not like, oh my God, we got UCF, but they're also not like, hey, they're a Pop Warner football team from some random conference. I mean, they're a legitimate program, So if you're a UCF fan, yeah, you should be happy you're getting to the Big 12, absolutely. But at the same time, if you're the Big 12, you're like, all right, that's just one of the teams we need to kind of round this thing out a little bit, So, yeah, and then the head coach situation, if Gus decides to leave for LSU, yeah, that's obviously going to change the program. But at the end of the day, the Big 12 isn't concerned about Gus. The Big 12 is concerned about survival. And they need UCF to be in this thing to have their conference continue.
Well, look, and I think UCF brings a huge enrollment. I get that. They bring the Orlando market. I get that. But what is the brand power of UCF football? If I look at Cincinnati, hey, Cincinnati's a terrific brand in basketball, and frankly, they're on the rise in football. Okay, cool, I get that. I look at Houston, not even a question. Houston athletics, with the footprint, getting the Big 12 into Houston, getting them into Southern Texas, allowing them to really have reach in every corner of the state, from Dallas to Lubbock, Waco, Houston, like. The Big 12 has the state of Texas.
Yeah.
I get that. BYU, totally get that. National audience, millions of TV viewers, huge relationships across all media. There's not a network that doesn't want to put BYU football on their channel. You totally understand that. So now tell me what the calling card for UCF is. Again, with all due respect, I'm not saying it's a bad university. I'm not saying it's a bad program. Gus Malzahn was a huge get for them, I think. He's already making huge inroads in recruiting. But how long is he going to be there? If they lose Gus Malzahn, I think that's a huge loss. This is a guy that, if memory serves, he beat Nick Saban 3 times. Obviously, one of the biggest wins in Iron Bowl history.
Iconic.
Exactly. An iconic win.
Yeah.
Developed a guy like Cam Newton. You look at Gus Malzahn's work at Auburn, this is a huge get for LSU. That's the issue. And it becomes, it's almost like you're on the coaching carousel, but it's a treadmill and you're running at like 8.
Yeah.
And you're just constantly trying. Because if Gus Malzahn truly does leave UCF, ask yourself this. Who are they going to replace him with? Because, again, and I'm just asking candidly, is that a great job? Is UCF a job where you're like, well, hot damn?
Well, it's a better job if they're in the Big 12 than where they are now.
Certainly, it's certainly better. That helps UCF.
It's not, again, and this is the struggle with UCF. I find myself struggling to kind of quantify the value they bring because it's like, yeah, dude, they're not a crappy program. This is a
not at all.
This is a good program, but at the same time, it doesn't have the it factor. What are you left to hold on to with UCF? Well, I don't know either, but at the same time, what I do know is they have a massive student body. They are a fun program to watch, and at the end of the day, once or twice a season, they're going to play BYU, so they're on ESPN, which is all the Big 12 cares about. So to me, whether, eventually, yeah, if this all comes together like it's looking like it's going to come together, UCF and Gus are going to be in the Big 12, and then eventually Gus is going to leave, probably 2 seasons in, I would think. Honestly, that's like the realistic timeline in college football because you feel like, Ed's got to lose a few more games. He's got to get embarrassed by an SEC opponent.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be a few more things that happen here to kind of get him out of that program.
But even if Gus is there for 2 seasons,
yeah,
I just think he leaves a crater-size hole to fill. And
it depends. It kind of depends, right? Like it depends. If they're on the same page, right? Because I also think this could be an angle. And again, this is just speculation. That's all it is. There's no proof behind it or anything. But speculating, if Gus said to UCF, listen, I want to lead your program for the next couple of seasons. I'm not going to be a 10-year guy here. Like, that's not going to happen. But a couple of seasons, and here's what we're going to do while I'm here. So be ready for me to leave. If they're on the same page in that light, then I don't think the whole backfilling Gus is that big. Yes, you need to find a quality candidate to back him up, but that's any program in the country, any program. So to me, the real question is, in terms of UCF and the Big 12, is LSU and Ed O. Because if LSU and Ed O break up and the world comes burning down for LSU, and we feel like it was only 5 minutes ago that Joe Burrow was smoking that cigar in the locker room, that's chaos. That's insane.
But I also think if you look at where UCF has come from, the George O'Leary days, the Knights are a much bigger brand now.
They're climbing, definitely.
Right? And if Gus Malzahn leaves there after 2 years, I think that's going to be a very difficult pill to swallow because I think when you look at what he's going to do in recruiting, that might be their biggest asset. That they're going to be more talented over the next 3 to 5 years if Gus is still there. But I don't know who you replace him with. I don't mean to speak in eventualities, but you have a guy in Scott Frost. How long was Scott Frost there? 1 year he was there. Like you look at Scott, and I just think that's the thing you worry about. At UCF, you worry about Josh Heupel. You worry about those short-term guys. At some point, you'd really like to have a guy that's there 10 years.
But isn't that like that's the challenge you face, basically across the country in programs outside of like Alabama or any of these like premier nameplates that we hear about every single year, the Ohio States and like all those guys.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to worry about that. But and even BYU doesn't have to worry about that with Kalani. Utah doesn't have to worry about it with Whip. But I'm talking about the teams that, like Chip Kelly is a perfect example. Chip Kelly, everybody thought, and this is amazing to me, everybody thought that UCLA was going to fire Chip Kelly after his embarrassing 2 and 3 win seasons. And now I know it's only one game, right? It's only one game. Got to prove it over 5, 6, 7 weeks that you're actually a legit team.
Yeah.
But let's say that they go out and LSU or UCLA rolls out to like a 6, 7, runs off 6 or 7 wins in a row here. How good is UCLA going to look and Chip Kelly going to look? Because they finally found stability. So the question to me is for UCF is right now, here today, do you and Gus have an understanding that he's probably not going to be here for 10 years? If you don't have that understanding, then yes, there's going to be big-time problems. Because when that LSU job opens up, and it will open up, that's going to happen at some point in the next 2 seasons, I would think. Once that job opens up, chaos is gonna happen. And if UCF, assuming this whole Big 12 thing comes together, and UCF is committed to the Big 12, I would just hope that the Big 12 is taking these kind of things into consideration because I think it matters.
Yeah, and I also think the thing that matters is what do all 4 of these teams bring to that league? Because I think BYU, and I know that like Oklahoma State fan hates this show.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
State fan.
Oklahoma State fan hates this show. Because I say this all the time, like I think BYU will walk into the Big 12 as one of the top 3 to 5 teams in that league in football. And I think they will contend every single year for a conference championship for the next 5 years. Because they're going to get an immediate boost in recruiting. Kalani and his staff are already doing a very good job recruiting. And when you add a seat at the national championship table, I mean, that automatically boosts your ability to recruit. Because as much stigma as OSU fan and every other Big 12 fan wants to put on
K-State.
K-State, like K-State guy went off in the comments yesterday talking about how you didn't even mention Schneider and how do you leave out Kansas in the basketball conference? Guy, with all due respect, Kansas is a great basketball program. Do they have a football team still? I mean, like
this is like North Carolina, bro. That's a basketball school. Don't you know that?
Right, and it's one of those things where I think BYU is going to have a much steeper hill to climb in basketball because I think the Big 12 is a fantastic basketball conference. Football-wise, BYU should be able to contend for a conference championship every single year, in my opinion. They are underrated because they are not known. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many fans outside of the great state of Utah that can even name who the starting quarterback at BYU is. Like, I don't know how many fans can do that. And I think that's one of the biggest – the stigmas around BYU are incredible to me.
And they're going to lead to people getting slapped in the face.
I think they will.
That's what's going to happen.
Just a bunch of church ball guys.
Yeah.
Until they're not, right? Yeah. So I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But as far as, like UCF goes, I just think their fortunes right now are going to be tied to Gus Malzahn. And you cannot have the Josh Heupel, Scott Frost, short stay, hey, I'm leaving for a better job. Now, frankly, Josh Heupel did not exactly win the world.
It's not the best situation, and we all know that.
Didn't he lose the first game in like 5 years?
I think so.
Something like that. I mean, but it's very difficult if you are at the level that UCF is at to keep these guys.
Yeah.
So
no doubt.
Anyway,
no doubt.
Here nor there. That was an interesting first 20 minutes. Let's see what the comment section has to say.
Okay, how many? Okay. Oh my God, you guys are late today. Comments do we have?
Joshua Blaylock Dixon. I don't know what you're doing, bro, but all of your comments are getting filtered. He says, guys, there's 18 people are watching and there's only 4 likes. Come on, man. Okay, well, what are you doing here then? I mean, we started an hour later than we usually do. Apologies, we had life. But I mean, nobody has got you anchored to this show.
I don't know if he's saying that to us or if he's saying that to the commenters. I don't know.
I don't know, but his comments are all getting hidden, so I don't know what he's saying.
By the way, again, I always like to say this for all the new people: we don't moderate the comments. YouTube does that. YouTube does that.
Jeremy Bolton says BYU brings exactly what Mike Gundy said last week. Everyone sees BYU as a P5 program. Anyway, yeah, they do.
Yep.
And I think that's why you're seeing Iowa State talking about how they've solidified their Western front. And again, I will simply just say the Pac-12's in real trouble. The Pac-12, and mind you, I'm a passionate Pac-12 football fan. The Pac-12 is in real trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, this conference had an opportunity to put their foot on the Big 12's neck and chose not to do it. The Pac-12 could easily have expanded to 16 teams and taken the cream of the crop of what was left Certainly, you would have loved to have had Kansas to the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
You would love to have had BYU in the Pac-12. You would love to have had Houston in the Pac-12.
Yeah, but they're not going to expand. It's just they're not going to expand. They're not going to do a streaming deal. They're not. Nah.
I'm telling
Why
you now.
Why would they do that?
But I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
And I don't know why my volume's doing that, but I'm telling you right now that the Pac-12 is in real trouble here. They missed an opportunity, and that is until they're not, and until they make a move that says otherwise, the Pac-12 is a dying league now.
Agreed.
And I think USC and Oregon had better have huge years in football, and they had better find a way to win a basketball tournament because the Pac-12 is irrelevant. Nobody watches their games. They're not on national TV. Their major brands are. Obviously, with ABC, you're going to get USC. With NBC, you're going to get USC Notre Dame. You're going to find Oregon on TV.
The East Coaster has
no idea.
Is going to think USC and UCLA. That's what they're going to think. They're not thinking about Utah. They're not thinking about the Arizona schools. They're not thinking about Stanford. No. They're not thinking about Washington State. They're not even. I would honestly, at this point, I don't know that they're even thinking about Washington.
The Nye guy says all NFL fans are still haunted by Chip Kelly's dumpster fire.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. Tanner Plummer says, as an Eagles fan, Chip Kelly still haunts me. Okay, I'm with you on that.
It was brutal.
James Knight, morning to you. Neville93 says, everyone is hyped for the Jazz team, and the schedule looks great. I live in Midvale, Utah. I would love that Xbox.
Well,
I mean, and there is everybody now is begging for the Xbox.
Well, okay, so what? Listen, I'm open to ideas. Like I said yesterday on the show, this is just sitting here, and it's ready for someone to come in and swoop it up. Now, what you have to do,
I'm sorry, did you say slurp it up?
No, I said swoop it up.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
I'm older. My hearing's
yeah, you don't slurp Xboxes. This isn't Kevin Durant. Come on. Let's clarify that. Anyway, point is, I mean, what does someone have to do? I mean, we gotta answer this question.
I don't know, but our meteoric rise continues on this show. I mean, unless you're Joshua Blaylock Dixon, who thinks we're a nobody, but how
dumb do you think I am?
That we added 100 subs yesterday on this channel. I'm pretty happy with that for just little old nobodies who don't watch Jazz basketball
or BYU games. I mean, or Utah,
and we know nothing about UCF or Oklahoma State.
Or Oklahoma State fan.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I
mean, we're just over here trying to do our thing.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I have no idea what that was.
Cody Strickland says, shot made my arm numb for days.
Oh,
what did you get? Cody, what did you get,
dude?
What shot did you get?
Pfizer?
I'm going to guess. Joshua Blaylock Dixon says, I love the Monty Show. Appreciate that. Casey Finlinson says, with Mark Pope and his recruiting abilities, it shouldn't take long to bring BYU up basketball to the Big 12 level. Well, I think
that's a real conversation.
That is a real conversation.
Yeah,
I mean, now, by the way, now how big does the Pope hiring look?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
And that's kind of my question. And these are the things that I think about. This whole Big 12 thing, this has been hanging around for, 5 years now?
Oh, at least.
Like at least.
Yeah, at least.
So if you've been BYU, you've been thinking about like, okay, if we even wind the clocks back all the way to the Kalani hiring, all the way even back to those days, like that to me.
Wait.
What?
James Knight says, "Hey Joshua Blaylock Dixon, I'm friends with your mom."
Do you want to set up the meeting?
By the way, predictably, Blaylock says, James Knight, no, you're not. Are you sure? He wasn't serious.
Welcome to the fucking show.
Your name is Blaylock. That just is what it is. Blaylock, I'm pretty sure he's not friends. I think he was being
facetious.
Yeah. Big word out of you.
Yeah.
Anyway, if Coach Witt prepared for conference championships the same way he preps for BYU, not mentioning names, playing old film of rivalries in sports facilities, he might win something. Wow.
I mean, they were one game away from the college football playoff in 2019, so.
Yeah, but I think much to your point,
Yeah.
I mean, this is a moment that BYU's been preparing for probably a decade.
Yeah, a decade.
And hiring Mark Pope now looks like
good move.
When Dave Rose retired, I think you didn't know where you were going to go. And you wind up with Mark Pope, and now you feel like that was a huge win. And you did that. But again, to the Tom Holmoe point, in Tom we trust, right? I mean, that's why if you're a BYU fan, if you're a Utah fan, in Whit we trust. In Coach K we trust. No, we don't. Anyway, the point is, I'll miss Coach
That
K.
was cold-blooded.
I'll miss Larry
That
K.
was cold-blooded, bro.
And his jackets. My point is that I think now you have to trust Tom Holmoe even more than you ever have. So, and it's good. By the way, the plight of the Utah Utes is very interesting in this whole conversation.
Boy, they better win, dude.
Because, well, you better win now, and then you better, figure out where you're going. Because where is Utah going? Because I'm telling you, the Pac-12 is not going to remain the same. It may change. They may lose. They may add. It's not going to stay the same. It isn't. It'll be interesting to watch. Cody Strickland says he got the Pfizer jab. So you had zero reaction to the Pfizer jab over the weekend.
Yeah, but I also am a unique case, right? So, remember...
Well, yeah, you lift.
Well, I lift. Well, not the last week, but yeah, generally speaking, I lift.
And you drink, dead chicken blood.
Right, yeah. So it ups my immune system. I don't take horse dewormer like some people we know. But
excuse me, it's ivermectin, please.
My bad. Sorry, ivermectin.
So Jake went over to our neighbor's house. They have a chicken coop, and he just he calls me. I'm at Yellowstone. He calls me. He lops off the head of a chicken and just chugs the blood right out of the throat.
Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough.
I'm just saying.
I made that up right now on the fly. I want you to know that. Anyway, the point is you had no reaction, but you also have had COVID.
Yeah.
You also haven't had sex ever.
Right, right.
And you had the J&J vaccine.
Right, yeah.
So getting the COVID vaccine from Pfizer,
yeah,
it seems like it kind of bulletproofed you.
Yeah, I mean, my arm was just felt like I got a shot, but I didn't. I had
ever,
dude. I had a very, very mild little headache, but other than that, nothing. I was fine, so it's cool.
Guy, you just now when I say that you're a virgin or you haven't had sex ever, which you're not, and you have.
Many
you just
times.
Gloss over it. You're just
I mean, what am I supposed to say? Yeah, I definitely did.
Hey, man, I pounded box like a porn star.
I'd love it to be wider.
By the way, did you see Donald Trump is now going to call an MMA match?
Yeah, whatever, dude.
The Holyfield Belfort match?
Dude.
What are we doing?
Piss off, man.
Anyway. The Nye guy says, I got the Pfizer and just recovered from COVID. Felt like a sinus infection. Well, that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
James Knight says, Monty, tell me the landscaping finished and it looks kick-ass.
Yeah, someone brought it up. Let's go.
Are we going to do that now?
What time is it? That's
I mean,
we got 23 minutes or so.
Okay. Tanner Plummer says, did you hear that Quinn Schneider visited BYU basketball's practice? I did not.
Yeah, he gave a speech to them and everything, yeah.
Nice. Eric C. says, my day isn't right without my daily dose of Monty. You're welcome. That's what she said.
Wow.
There's a problem, man. I'm telling you.
I love that show.
Jeremy Bolton says, I'll come mow your lawn, water your plants, etc. for a summer if I get the Xbox.
Wow.
Okay. Red Heart Norris says, I don't care about the Xbox. I just like the show. Favorite part is about learning exotic American foods. Cody Strickland says, do a 2,000 giveaway for the Xbox. All right. How about we do? Okay. Well, wait. How about this? We're at 17.9 or what are we?
No. We're approaching 1,900.
Are we really?
Yeah. We're yesterday.
Oh yeah, 1866.
Yeah, we're approaching 1,900.
All right. So how about we do? That's not
hello
Rockstar. How about?
By the way, affiliate links in the description. Thanks.
Yeah,
so
you
much.
can get our Rockstar Recovery. Yeah, go ahead, buy it. You want to donate? Go ahead and buy our Rockstar links.
Better giveaways to come if you do that.
Because we're doing a Traeger giveaway.
Yeah.
At
Ironwood 650 at 2,500.
So we're at 18 now.
Yeah.
Man, that is coming.
We're almost
quick.
at 19. Yeah, we're almost at 19.
That is coming quick.
Well, you weren't joking yesterday. Legit. We have screenshots. 100 subs yesterday.
The show's doing well. Well, how about we do this?
Yeah.
If we're going to do the Traeger at 2,500, What if we do the, because everybody wants the Xbox.
Right.
It seems like people are not even excited about the Traeger. Bro, we're giving away a Traeger Ironwood 650.
I don't think people know how sick the Traeger is, dude.
If you have not watched our lifestyle vlogs on the last couple of weekends, I mean, the Traeger's amazing. It'll change your life. Even if you're a barbecue guy, you're not a barbecue. Forget propane ever even existed.
You don't have to. The biggest thing with the Traeger that I'll say real quick, the awesome thing about it is you don't have to. Everybody thinks, people who don't smoke and never have but just hear about this think that, oh, it's an all-day process. It doesn't have to be like that. You can literally, over the weekend in a lifestyle video, go find it. I literally took a half hour on the Traeger, and that was it. Turned it on, turned it off. That easy. And it takes 10 minutes to heat up. It's really quite easy. So, yeah.
I think it is. I think Traegers are way underrated.
Yeah.
So why don't we do this at 3,000?
Okay.
Is that too long?
I think that's too long. Yeah.
Okay, 5,000.
Okay. I always knew you liked more length, but I didn't realize it was that much.
Girth.
Right.
Girthy.
Right.
We'll come up with something. I mean, honestly, I think we're adding so many people to the show that hopefully it's not long before we get to 2,000. I don't know what we'll do. I don't know. No, don't ask me about merch.
Bro, the merch thing
is so frustrating.
Freaking topic.
I am so frustrated with it.
We've been working our ass off to get merch to you guys. And how many? I've reached out to like 3 people. No. Nope.
The hard part is, and a lot of people ask me this on Twitter, the reason we don't have a merch line yet is the design is done.
We have all the graphics and everything. It's ready.
The hard part is there's nobody in Salt Lake where I can say, okay, hey, we want to build a website, have you go to the website, order a sweatshirt, and have them print it and ship it to you. But all they want to do is they want to say, oh, yeah, we'll do that. We'll have it sent to Bangladesh. They'll print it, and then they'll ship it, and your customer will get it like 6 weeks later. And it's like, are you serious?
So my feeling is, and I actually was thinking, it's so funny this got brought up. I was thinking about this last night. My feeling is I think what we're probably going to get forced into doing is doing drops, basically, where we're going to have to pre-order. We're going to have all the product delivered to us, and then we're going to have to send it out, which I guess is fine. I mean, it's cool, but it just is. We were hoping to streamline the process. That's what the holdup has been, trying to find somebody who can help us execute that. So maybe I think what we may do is I don't know. We were going to do the Xbox giveaway tied to merch. We were gonna do that. It's just been impossible to find somebody. So it's we're trying.
James Knight has a request.
Okay. Oh boy.
James Knight, who's one of our favorite listeners.
He is. Yes.
He lives in Australia.
Yes.
And apparently he's banging Joshua Blaylock's mom. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what James says.
I heard a rumor that he knocked down Luca's mom too.
Well, you know what? He's a baller.
Yeah.
Okay, that came out the wrong way.
I doubt that.
Wow.
James Knight says, do me a favor, guys. Can we ban Joshua like we banned Growcock? He's annoying me already. We didn't ban Growcock.
No, dude just doesn't show up.
Because it's at like 11 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock at night in Australia right now.
I don't give a big
Yeah, James,
fuck.
you know this. James is actually an adult, though he can stay up.
Yeah, he doesn't have a curfew. You know, doesn't have a bedtime.
We treat him like an adult.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm not going to ban Joshua. Joshua Blaylock Dixon, I love you too. He says, I love the Monty Show. We love you too.